What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bring incredible guests from all over the world, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is obviously an entrepreneur. He's a public speaker, a consultant, a marketing strategist, a founder of David to Goliath, as well as a transparent leader. Please welcome Nigel Thomas. Nigel, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Deanna. I'm looking forward to raw, real, honest conversations, and let's hope to inspire some people to take that leap of faith in 2024 and conquer their self-doubt and go big.
Yes. Ooh, I like that. Now we're hitting the ground running. Okay, well, we got to dig into a little bit of your background here. You've built 7-figure agencies and consulted many 7 to 8-figure DTC brands on marketing strategy, and now you're the founder of David to Goliath. So why don't we talk a little bit about your success and your background there and what's led you to this new movement that you have created?
Yeah, look, at 26 years old, I'm 32 now, I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was, Deanna. I had to Google it. I was in the corporate world, I was brought up in a background of accountants that are very risk averse, and the black sheep of the family. And I started thinking there's more to life than this.
Yeah.
And on one walk home from work, I'd had enough. And I just said, I'm quitting the life of mediocrity. So I had a few freelancing gigs on a platform called Upwork. I just took the leap of faith into the unknown. So there's actually a great scene in the Batman movie. I don't know if you know it, The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. And Batman is essentially escaping the prison to go and save Gotham. Now, he's at the bottom of the prison, and he's trying to jump over this ledge to get to the side to escape. And he keeps holding this rope and jumps, but he never makes it to the other side. And then he goes back down to the prison. One of the prisoners said to him, why not jump without the rope and let the fear of death drive you forward to the other side? So he gets up back on the ledge, everyone's chanting his name, and he takes that leap of faith without the rope, and he makes it to the other side. The reason why I'm telling you that is that jump with no certainty and no backup plan is the exact jump that all entrepreneurs make in life, and everyone has to go through that. And I took that leap of faith when I was 26 years old against the dismay of my parents. And you know what? It was the best decision of my entire life. And if I knew what was coming within the next few years, I probably would have never taken that leap of faith, because we're deluded. But it's that delusion that allows us to make that big decision, and it gives us that unwavering conviction to get to the other side and just figure it out as we go along the way. So when I got to that point, I just started hustling really for new business. I started an agency, that one failed. Then I built an agency for someone else. That guy turned out to be a narcissist. He burnt the company into the ground. And then I came to another agency called Alpha Inbound, and this was about 2 years ago. I was doing about $5,000 a month at the time. And look, I like to put my balls on the line. I think taking risks is really important.
I love that.
So I said to Josh, the founder, hey man, I'm going to get this agency to $100,000 a month. Don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. I just know I am not going to stop until I get the job done.
Yeah.
Because even though I didn't get the credit of that previous agency, because the owner took it all, I got the experience. Yeah. So I knew with that and the newfound confidence that I had, that I could go and do this. Twists and turns, ups and downs. But in September 2023, we finally managed to conquer that goal and hit 100,000, 113,000 in revenue to be exact. We got it to 140,000 a month by the end of 2023. And look, from the outside looking in, everything was sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
But little did my team know, on the inside, September 2023, I just handed in my notice at Alpha Inbound, and I was thinking about committing suicide.
Oh, wow. But why? With all that, and I'm sure you have more to expound on that story, but if you achieved that level of success that you set out to do, right, and you took, why were you feeling so hopeless?
I'll tell you, because the reason that I've had all this success in the first place was because, bear in mind, when I was at school, I got incessantly bullied. I've got a skin condition called eczema, and I still remember in school, like after sports, we used to have showers, all the guys together. And I was standing there fully naked with wounds and scars all over my body as the other guys used to laugh at me and tell me how ugly I was, tell me how I'd never amount to anything in life. Because of the dryness of my skin, they used to call me Krusty the Clown. And I've never felt so vulnerable or humiliated in my entire life. And when I got into entrepreneurship and at that second business where the owner was a narcissist, I actually met a woman who worked in the team. And this woman changed my life because she transferred the self-belief to me to make me feel like I could conquer anything. And she helped me build that agency. And it turned out to be a messed up love story. We developed a relationship. I brought her on to the other agency, Alpha Inbound. And just at the height, when we were really scaling and everything was looking good, things just didn't work out between us. And then she cut me out of her life. And ultimately, that's when I lost the person that believed in me most. So I went from right to the top to right back down extreme the other way. And that's when I nearly gave up on everything, including life. But in that dark moment, Diana, I said to myself, if I'm not going to continue for me, I'm going to continue for everyone else who deserves a second chance in life. And that's when I knew I had to quit Alpha Inbound. So I gritted my teeth, bit down on my gum shield. I turned up at calls knowing, because I'm a man of my word, I have to hit this $100,000 a month goal. And I got there, and as soon as I did, I phoned up the CEO or the founder, because I was the CEO, and said, look, man, I've got to leave. There's too many memories here. I've got to go and build this big movement. And that's what David to Goliath's all about. Because at the end of the day, the reason that David took on Goliath with a slingshot and a few pebbles is because he had that belief transferred to him. So that's what the story's all about. And it's about me, even though I obviously saw the other side when that person left me. And it plunged me and nearly took my life. I had someone who unconditionally believed in me. So I've now got the gratitude to be able to go pass that on to other entrepreneurs, to other people that want to, you know, go after life and do big things, not necessarily just in entrepreneurship. And like I said, with the Batman movie, take that leap of faith, because really the antidote to those fears is the self-belief that you can do it. And sometimes you just need that one person to give you that push. And me documenting my comeback from going from nothing to building $100,000, we're doing it through a newsletter community in 2024, is me once again putting my balls on the line at a much more extreme level to show everyone else it's possible. And I'm not just sharing the good. I'm sharing the good, the bad, and the damn right ugly. And that's my entire philosophy. So vulnerability is extremely important. Life is an emotional experience. And my hope is that I share more of mine. Other people will be okay to share more of theirs.
Yeah. Well, first things first, people are mean. It's like we are in 2024 and they still resort to being mean. I mean, like, are we over this already? Have we heard all the stories as kids? Like, somewhere along the way, those people, those men that were, or young men that were mean to you, obviously were not raised right. And like, they shouldn't have, that was not right. So I was not raised that way. So shame on them. They'll get what's coming to them. Number two, this woman that you connected with obviously was kind of like a godsend for you in some ways. So like, she was there. She was just a chapter in your life. And I think that happens for a lot of us people, that there's someone that comes into our life that's supposed to be there for a chapter, for a season, and then it's time for them to go. And, they bring some value with them when they are a part of that chapter or your story in that specific time. But it never feels good when our heart is broken, right?
It's not. And I'll let you in a little extra, because we've just launched the newsletter. And literally the day before the launch, so I thought, and I'd said in the newsletter, I've moved on, I'm over this, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And literally the day before, talk about timing, by chance I went on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I came across a picture, and there she was. I'd not seen her in 6 months. And she had her arms around her new partner with a massive beaming smile on her face. And that smile in that moment ripped through my heart.
Yeah.
And it ripped all sorts of raw emotions up. And I literally had to run as fast as I could to the top of the building I was in and just breathe in the cold air and just try and calm myself down. And I went and had a conversation with my friends. His name's Dan. One of my best friends. He's actually been helping me build this newsletter. You know, he's working a job as well. He's just helping me out. Just an incredible person. He said this thing to me, which took me from excruciating pain to giving me the most purpose I've ever had in my life. Because he basically said, would you trade places with that guy? Would you trade places and have it all to yourself again? When he said that, I was like, look, you couldn't pay me any money in the world to trade places, because he might have her. He might have everything.
Yeah.
He doesn't have David to Goliath.
Right.
And even though we've only done 2 newsletters, the messages that I'm starting to receive, massive essays from people talking about how they're also going through the struggles, opening up, telling how much they appreciate it. It's the start of a movement. And I am so grateful that I get to lead that charge. And now I have a responsibility to sacrifice for this higher cause. And in that moment, it just gave me such wavering conviction. So like you said, you know, having that closure, knowing that person's the season in your life, it turns into a massive growth moment. So like I said, interested in the timing, but now I'm so fired up. I'm so excited. And this is deeply personal. It's not about money anymore.
Yeah. I actually just see so much good that came out of that. So that story, I know I've been through heartbreak. I mean, I think we have all experienced heartbreak, and it sucks. It's never fun. You always feel like it's the end of the world, and it's just like, I'm never going to feel this again. But the truth is that you will fall in love again. You will find someone new, and the next person that you are with, they're going to be smiling with you like that person was smiling with someone else. And it's going to be a much more profound, real, like, connection that's going to take you to new heights, because this woman catapulted you to this level. And just think of who the next real significant other for you is going to take you. That person is going to catapult you to new heights as well. But yeah,
I hope so.
Getting your heart broken sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, it is no fun. Like, oh my gosh, I was married before my husband passed away about almost 8. Well, it's been 8 years ago, and I'm newly married. I never thought I was going to get married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm like, I'm never getting married again. That's it. I'm going to be single forever. And that was not what God had in store for me. It's completely different. And so, you know, we do move on, we do grow, and we do heal. So and we learn. We learn from those previous relationships too. Oh, hi. It's your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. I'm here to share an exciting opportunity with you. I've recently partnered with securevpn.io. They specialize in protecting your online activity, such as transactions, your online searches, your privacy protection, and it protects you from any data leakage from hackers out there that have access to your information. So please click the link in bio and take advantage of this special opportunity with securevpn.io. Again, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. So I want to hear, you just launched David to Goliath. And I want to hear what your expectation is for people that get involved in this newsletter in your community.
Yeah, so we release. So it was weird because I wanted to start a newsletter, and I saw there were many great newsletters in the space because I have very high standards. And I'm putting my heart and soul into these things. To give people an idea, each newsletter takes over 50 hours to write and put together. We make comic books with them.
Holy God.
Me and Dan. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. But I'm doing that on purpose because I want people to know, we're putting out that kind of free content because we care so much about people. And what happened, and this is actually a really good lesson for people think you need a big fancy studio to get started, is me and my friend Dan, we were talking about the newsletter just before it got going. And there's actually a place here in the UK, in Manchester, the Central Library, and you can book out a podcast studio for free.
Okay.
So we just went in there and we just started talking. And now we've started a podcast as well. So we do the podcast. We write up all of the notes, we put them into this newsletter, we make a comic book out of it, and then we go and publish that out on socials as well. So we're creating this whole system. This is 2 weeks in. We've already moved so far because we're just taking massive, relentless action. In terms of the content people will get, there's two things. We have a Tuesday edition and a Thursday edition. So on Tuesdays, we're talking about the comeback. And we're not talking about just the highlight reel you get on social media. Yeah. I'm documenting, as you can see, I'm in the pain right now. Most people, when they're successful, they look back and talk about the painful moments. I am in the pain right now, and I'm documenting live and talking about that doubt and that fear and overcoming it. And what we're doing to build this newsletter and the lessons and experiences we're learning along the way, as well as me throwing in some experiences of how I've learned growing companies so other people can do that faster and obviously learn from my mistakes. And then every Thursday, we're interviewing some of the best leaders of our generation. So, for example, last Tuesday or Thursday, we had Jake Cars from Midday Squares, who went from class clown to real life Willy Wonka of a $30 million chocolate company that are taking on Hershey's and Mars, and its name's Midday Squares. And his story is just absolutely ridiculous. And what we're doing is we're talking about the backstory again with the comics, really bringing it to life. And then we're giving people action items and lessons that they can learn in their life in the hope that obviously inspires more people to do bigger things. And the tagline to kind of summarize everything is dream like a giant, but fight. Believe in your dreams like a goddamn underdog, baby.
Yes, I love it. I there's not one person I've had on the show that with an incredible story that doesn't have a very compelling, heart-wrenching, tear-jerking backstory. So it's like you have to go through the pain to really be someone that people can listen to and to relate to. Because if you didn't have that experience and that heartbreak and that a tough go at things, then and get over it to come to the other side, how can people listen to you and look up to you as an expert or as a motivator or as someone that has the experience, right? And so I feel like sometimes when we go through these hard times, they're blessings for us. It's an example of what we're number one capable of, and that we do have a higher power because we are going through it, and it's just we don't see it yet.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
But really, the David to Goliath, it's like, going from nothing to building something great. But it means so many things. It's not necessarily just underdog in business taking on Goliaths, like in Jake's case. The Goliaths can be the demons in your mind. It can be anything. And the idea is, it's about you and your journey. And I'm trying to build a community. So yeah, I'm documenting mine, but it's the hope is being vulnerable and sharing is giving people a safe environment, but also telling people that to build something great, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a business.
Yeah.
You have to go through the struggle and you have to make sacrifices. And I'm telling people it's okay to be obsessed. Contrary to what society tells you, I'm telling you, go after your dreams. Life is short. Live crazy. Do crazy stuff. And just live life to the fullest. And I want to surround myself with crazy people because Steve Jobs said, yeah, exactly. And Steve Jobs rightly said, didn't he? It's the people who think they're crazy enough to change the world are the ones that do. But listen, what he didn't say is the best ideas are found in graveyards all over our lands because people lacked the courage to take that chance on themselves. And the idea of David to Goliath, and obviously what you're doing, is giving people and making that chance a choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is your demographic specifically geared towards men or, No.
I actually had talked to Dan about that because some of the newsletters came a little bit off, like it was too tailored toward guys, and it's two guys building it, right? But no, I don't just want it to be guys. I've met some absolutely incredible female founders, and I love diversity. I don't care where you come from, what your skin color is, what your gender is. I don't care about any of that. I just want you to be you. And this is for anyone who wants to listen. And I'll also be honest, I probably shouldn't say this. I don't know exactly who it's for. but I'm just going to keep taking action. I'm going to keep listening to feedback, and I'm just going to figure out along the way. And that's the whole point of David to Goliath.
Boom. I love it. You don't know who it's for yet, but you're listening to your heart and you're following what you're guided to do. Amen to that, brother, because I feel that to my core. I think that's just amazing. Now, are you going to, this is obviously a free newsletter for people.
Yeah.
Are you, and you started a podcast, are you turning this into like, what is your business model? Are you going to be offering anything for people because you are a transparent leader, you have this expertise in marketing and all this stuff?
Yes, it's a good question. I mean, at the end of the day, to make a bigger impact, I see money as a tool to be able to grow things faster, to make more impact. So the idea right now, and I'm doing a little bit of one-to-one mentoring on the sides, but that's literally just to keep things going so I can keep fueling this amazing content, the team of people we need to hire. But when it kicks into Q2, the idea of it, again, it might change. Like I said, I'm just taking action, is to do some mastermind events.
There we go.
And then also maybe do some sponsorships. But I'm very cautious on that because I really care about the quality and not just making it a big advertisement thing. So that's, to see. And then long term, the idea is to really build a community. And maybe there'd be some paid elements to that. I don't know that far yet, because if we don't get it right now and have this incredible content, incredible community and transparency and connection with our audience, we'll never get there. But like I said, I think the masterminds, meeting people up in person, will be an incredible experience for people who want to do it. So that'll definitely be one of the revenue streams, and then things will come on from there. And look, I think the last thing to say is social media has been absolutely incredible for connecting people. I mean, look, we're here today. Although Harvard Business Review did a study on human happiness, the longest study ever done. For 85 years, they followed these guys around. They looked at everything. They tracked their relationships, their health. And the thing they found that gives humans happiness is deep, meaningful relationships.
Yes.
And right now in this world, because social media, even though it's great for connection, it lacks the depth. So people are lonelier than ever. And with that in mind, I saw this. I think communities are going to absolutely explode over the next few years. I don't know if you've heard of the Community Chief. Have you heard of it?
No, I have not.
It's a women-led community, and it's 2 women in New York who started it. And I can't remember how much it costs, a few $1,000s or whatever. They've got about 10,000 women involved with 60,000 person waiting list. And within 2 years, it's valued at over $1 billion.
Whoa. Holy
yeah. Exactly. And I see communities absolutely exploding in the next few years. So in terms of a business opportunity, it's that. But I'm not really doing it for the money. I'm doing it because there's a higher cause there. But I think strategically, communities are a really good way to go, and it gives you a lot of leverage.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's a great idea. And I love the idea of David to Goliath. I mean, I'm a believer. I've read the Bible, this might be a little controversial question, but I have to ask it because if anybody's listening, be wondering, we live in a day and age where people are so divided. They're so cynical. They're so they've lost a lot of faith, right? And so now you're bringing up people that are part of faith, right? That have been in the Bible. Now, what do you think about the people that are like, oh, another Bible beater bringing up David to Goliath? You know what I mean? Because there are people out there like that are gonna they're gonna question that, and they're gonna have a negative spin on it when it's really a beautiful, really a beautiful message. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, look, I think with marketing, if you're being talked about, you're relevant,
right?
And ultimately, a lot of people use marketing to manipulate people. Yes. I know in my heart of heart that I'm doing it for a good cause. I actually, contrary to what a lot of people think in the startup world, names don't matter, logos don't matter. I thought so long about the name because I think it's so important. It represents something that people will stand for. And that's why I went for David to Goliath. Yes, it is biblical. And I think it will get people talking. Yeah. But ultimately, people will judge. But for the people who know and the people who actually get involved, they'll know the truth. And I'm a big believer that the universe ultimately will eventually arc to the truth, and the truth will rise to the top. It just may take some time.
Beautiful. What's the name of your podcast? Is it David to Goliath as well?
Yeah.
It is. Awesome. Where can you share your links? Where can people find you, connect with you, and learn more about being involved in your community?
Yeah, sure. So davidtogoliath.com, that's the newsletter. And my biggest platform right now is LinkedIn. I've got about 43,000 followers and a community there. And then obviously the David to Goliath podcast. But we're looking to ramp up and get another channels. So hopefully you'll see me in more places on Instagram, TikTok, and all those kind of places. But yeah, look, I'd love to connect with anyone. And all I'll say is never, ever suffer in silence. You're not alone.
Yeah.
There's other people going through this. I'm going through it. And I want people to know that, and I want people to connect with each other, because if you get those deep, meaningful relationships, and ultimately, if you get those people around you, that support system that believes in you, you can conquer the world. And as this woman used to always say to me, the best gift that you can give anyone in life is believing in them. But the best person to believe in is yourself.
Amen to that. You guys, I'm going to put the links in the show notes. So if you connected with Nigel and are interested in being a part of his community, go check out his website, go sign up for his newsletter, go follow him on social media, and you yourself can be turned David to Goliath. Nigel, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
It won't be long before you blink your eyes and you're on your deathbed. And you're casting and you're looking back and flashing back through your life. Do you want those seeds of regret? Because right now, listening to this podcast, you can change that. You can change your fortunes today. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. But just like Batman did, jump without the rope and get to the other side and live up to your full potential. Because trust me, when you get to the end and you look back, your memories, everything will be worth it. So just go for it.
Yes. You know what? You've made me tear up a couple times during this show. And I'm so moved by you, your passion, your story, and just your mission. So we are definitely two peas in a pod, and definitely got a lot of synergy there. Nigel, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being completely vulnerable and authentic and honest about what you've been through. It allows people to connect with you even deeper, and it's going to bring you a lot of rewards and build that community even faster by sharing what you share. So thank you very much.
Especially when I get to learn from great people like yourself. So thank you.
Again, what are you doing? Trying to make me cry? All my makeup's going to come off. Thank you, Nigel. That was beautiful. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.